Hello, welcome to the presentation on the firewall and IDS configuration, otherwise known as cybersecurity project number 4. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about installing your firewall, your IDS, your IPS, show you some of the rules that we set up and all that good stuff. First thing I want to do here is just show a little overview of what all had to be done on this project. So again, installing Snort on the pfSense firewall. Had to write some custom Snort rules to log suspicious activity, and we'll show you the logs and what that looks like. Demonstrate that the firewall rules and the Snort rules are working. Configure Snort rules and firewall rules. And then give you some general security recommendations to continue on with this IPS IDS firewall. First, let's show you how we downloaded and installed Snort onto the firewall. So first, we had to go to our system and our network and enable this adapter 4 for our internet here. We're going to change that to internet. I'll show you that in just a second here too. But this is easy. You just went to your network settings, and it's usually attached to the NAT here. And then setting up your internet interface, sorry. You have to navigate to the default gateway. So you open your Kali, your trusted computer, and you open the internet and you navigate to 192.168.0.1. That's your default gateway. And then this will come up with the pfSense setup here. Okay. Once you do that, you go to your interface assignments and you click on here and this fourth one. This is the new one that we just set up. It says internet now. That's because I've already configured it, but it'll say something different and that's configured. So you click on that setting right there. And once you click on that setting, you enable the interface. And this is where I changed the name to internet. And then the IP4 configuration type, DHCP, change it to that. So that works. Let's show you that this is working here. And then there's two ways you can see if your internet is working and it's configured correctly. The first is on your router firewall. Usually there's only 3 options here in this little section: untrusted, trusted, and DMZ. But now it showed the internet option that we renamed to internet and DHCP4. And here's the default IP address 10.0.5.15-24 /24 that they give you there. That's one way to verify that it's working. The other way is by going to diagnostics on your pfSense and then the ping setting. And right here, I pinged 8.8.8.8. And as you can see down here, the results: 3 packets transmitted, 3 packets received, no packet loss. So that confirmed right there that the internet is working correctly. And that everything's configured correctly. Right? The next thing I had to do, was tasked with, was installing Snort. So you go up to your packages on your pfSense, and then Snort is actually an option. You can search for Snort and find it. So you can see it'll be under available packages if it's not installed, but it is already installed on this, and so you can see install packages Snort. You have to update, or you might have to update your pfSense firewall. I did in this case, so I updated it to the latest version, and then that installed Snort, and that works correctly. As you can see, Snort's an open source network intrusion prevention and detection system, so our IDS, IPS, combining the benefits of signature, protocol, and anomaly-based inspection. So we'll show you a little bit how Snort works here in just a second. But as you can see, it's installed on the system and done correctly. Next thing I had to do was go to Snort's website and get what's called an OINC master code. So it's a very funny name, but this is my OINC master code that I put into the pfSense here, and this gets you a bunch of free rules that will block most of the just common vulnerabilities that are on your system. So you can kind of see it'll block a bunch of different rules, and so this is just a screenshot, but on the actual one, you can scroll down and it'll show you a bunch of rules that you can enable here. And there is a pro version, which could be a recommendation. You might want to sign up for the pro version of this. Blocks even more things. But these are just kind of the general free ones that are blocked, and this is the OINC master code I put in to get those free rules and all that stuff configured. Once you have Snort installed, you can go to the interfaces, Snort interfaces, and right here we've got untrusted, trusted, and then DMZ was our different interfaces that we had. And then at this point, I went and wrote some custom rules, okay, for our Snort. And these are all alerts. So you can see down here, I went to untrusted rules, and then custom rules, and then here's the rules I wrote. So these are alerting for Nmap Xmas scan. So anytime it has that, it'll alert in the log. And I'll show you the log in just a second here. This is for FTP connections to the web server. So there'll be an alert anytime there's an FTP connection to the web server. And then last one is another Nmap ping sweep alert. So let me show you what those alerts look like in the alert log. All right, so here's the alert log on Snort. And as you can see, alert of an FTP connection to the web server. Here's an alert for an Nmap ping sweep. This is where you can kind of check those logs and see what those alerts are. And these are important to check for because someone's trying to connect FTP connection to your web server. That could be a possible vulnerability. Same thing with this Nmap ping sweep. So these are all things, once you see these alerts, you'd want to check out what the source IP address is, where it's coming from, all that stuff. So this is a good, helpful log to check and make sure that everything is working correctly and going correctly. Okay. The other thing we were tasked with was writing custom firewall rules. So this was on the firewall. You can write rules. And then you can see right here, this is blocking FTP traffic. So this is blocking it to the web server completely. I'll show you a demonstration of that working here in just a second. But here's the custom firewall rules that we have written for your system right now. Here's some security recommendations. I'm going to show you a demonstration here, kind of how most of this works. But here's some security recommendations that we have for you here. So we showed you those logs. You want to continue to monitor those logs. Continue to update your Snort rules and your firewall rules. You can go to Snort and just update and make sure that you're running the latest version, running the latest rules. You could update to that pro version, that'll help too. And updating that pfSense firewall, which you should have the most update version right now. Have a firewall and IDS policy. So these kind of go hand in hand for the company. Make sure everyone's on the same page. So this is more for your cybersecurity folks, but you need to have a company policy so we know when we're monitoring the logs, when we're updating, how often we're checking that stuff. It's good just to have a policy so everyone's on the same page. They know when things need to happen. It's just a good thing to have. Audit firewall performance regularly. So this could be penetration testing. The penetration testing can be in-house, your current cybersecurity employees, or you could do it from someone outside the company as well. If you want to pay and have someone penetration testing, or maybe you have in-company penetration testing several times a year, and then once a year you do it outside the company. But having someone to audit the performance of your firewall, making sure that it's working correctly. And again, this ties into your policy as to how often it happens and who's doing it and all that stuff. So these are just some good general cybersecurity recommendations for you to have. Next thing I want to do is give you a little demonstration. So let me get out of this real quick. And here's our Kali Trusted. And as you can see, we are running the pfSense software here. And then this is the rules that we wrote for our firewall. For our firewall, we went to rules. As you can see, this is untrusted DMZ. So here's our untrusted rule. So this is the one that blocks FTP traffic to the web server. I'm going to show you how this works. So the first thing I want to do is show you when it's disabled. So we've clicked on it, that disables the rule, apply changes. Then we're gonna go over here to our untrusted. Log in on this real quick. And we're gonna try to establish an FTP connection with our web server. And as you can see, it connected, no problem, because that rule is disabled. We established an FTP connection. So now let's see what happens when we enable the rule. Over here, and apply changes. Again, you just click on this and it enables the rule. Let's go to our Kali untrusted. And let's try the FTP connection now. As you can see, nothing happens. And so it does not connect, it doesn't have that FTP connection because we have that firewall rule in place. Okay. Let's show you Snort here real quick. Show you that it's running on our computer. So here's Snort. Here's all of the interfaces that we talked about. Let's go to the untrusted interface. And so I can show you these rules that we set up. Our custom rules right here. We talked about that's alerting. Here's the alert page that I showed you. And as you can see right here, this is the alert, the FTP connection to web server that we just did, and then it alerted you. So that you can see right there that that alert is working and done correctly. Go to firewall rules. We're just at, here's your firewall rules, and all that's done correctly. So please make sure that you follow some of those recommendations on what we talked about for what we need to keep this system running efficiently and effectively. And if you have any questions, you can email me or call me, text me anytime. I can answer any of those questions that you have, and we'll get it taken care of. Thank you.